these are anxious times. All of us are living in these uncertain moment where we are worried about our health, our well-being, the health of our family members, the health of our friends, the health of our businesses. We don't know what is going to come tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen to our jobs. We don't know what's going to happen to the vaccinations, to the third phase of the disease, to the fourth phase of the disease. And in these moments, when we should actually be calm and collected, our stress levels have actually increased manifold. And one of the biggest victims of this increased stress, this increased anxiety, has been our sleep. Sleep, which is an activity which we do for 1/3 of our lives. Sleep, whose amazing powers of restoring our mental, emotional, and physical well-being, every health expert and every doctor will talk about. Sleep is something that seems to have just disappeared from our life, as has many other things. So when I'm doom scrolling in the middle of the night and I lie awake at 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., more often than not, when I see my Twitter feed, there are many men and women who are awake at 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. and asking each other, I'm awake, what are you doing? What are we doing? Getting more and more anxious. One of my mentees told me the other day that I was so used to being in control of everything that happens in my life. I was so used to making lists and scheduling my life and making sure that whatever I had scheduled came true, that I don't know how to deal with this uncertain times. And therefore, I can't sleep, because for me, sleep is like letting go of yet another measure of control. So I'm lying awake. And what sleep is doing, what this lack of sleep is doing, is just, it's become a vicious circle. So we are anxious and unable to sleep. We don't sleep, we become more anxious. And there seems to be no way of getting out of this Sisyphean loop. So what I thought I'd do is get, for all of us, for me and all of you who are watching us today, get somebody who's made understanding sleep her passion and life's work. So I have with me today Dr. Kat. Dr. Kat is a sleep and body clock specialist who's passionate about helping people, especially women, sleep well and feel better about themselves. She provides one-on-one therapy to those experiencing insomnia. She works with organizations, helping them realize the goodness of sleep. She runs sleep hacks and educational talks and workshops to understand sleep behavior and design personal sleep plans incorporating behavioral changes using learning from mindfulness, acceptance, and compassion therapy. She holds a PhD in human circadian physiology and behavior and an MSc in biosciences. She has written a practical guide on getting good sleep called Sleep Sense. So, welcome, Dr. Kat.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. I'm really looking forward to our conversation.
I'm so happy to have you here. For myself, as a confirmed insomniac, I'm always looking for sleep tips and sleep health, and also for a lot of women who I know are suffering from huge amounts of sleep issues currently. So let me just get straight off and ask you, my first question. So, I always thought I was a good sleeper. And I still remember that in my youth, which is, of course, days that have gone long past, I still remember that I could sleep deeply. And, that the joy of getting up the next morning with having 7-8 hours of solid night's sleep behind you, and the happiness and, mental well-being those nights gave me.
Yeah.
But then once my son was born many years ago, it seemed as if sleep had just disappeared from my life. So, of course, he settled into a good sleep routine fairly fast, but I was not able to sleep after that. So, in the other room, even if he would, whimper, or I could hear a small sneeze, I'd be up immediately. Whereas my husband, on the other hand, despite a wailing child crying next to his ear, he'd be sleeping the sleep of the pure, right? And you just couldn't wake him out of his slumber. Whereas I would just get up, even if my son sort of came and, you know, whispered in my ear. So, my first question to you, Kat, is why did this happen? Is it just my husband? Or is it that men and women sleep differently? And if so, why do we sleep differently?
So good question. And so many mums will resonate with what you've just shared. In fact, I was talking to a lady just a little while ago, and something very similar happened there. So there are differences between men and women and how we sleep, and there are different reasons for this. One is sort of more biological reasons, and some are more around cultural norms or sort of gender roles, absolutely. But on the biological side, women, for example, have earlier bedtimes than men. So that relates to your body clock and circadian rhythms. And in women, generally speaking, it runs a bit faster. So that means ideally, or our clock tells us to go to bed earlier and probably wake up earlier, but due to family life and also just wanting to spend some time with our partner, or just in a way doing nothing in the evening, we go to bed later. And that has then implications for the quality of our sleep. There are also differences in sleep cycle. And actually, it is that women have more deep sleep than men have. However, how a woman perceives her sleep can be very different to how it is measured in a sleep lab, sort of an objective assessment. And then to come on to what you were talking about, that when your son was born, while he was sleeping fine, you were listening out. Now, whether this sort of light sleep that you then experience more and more is biological, or whether it is actually related to caregiving and, again, gender roles, this expectation the woman will do it. There could be different reasons, because sometimes we see it in men, in fathers as well, that their sleep can become lighter. But I think there's sort of an overlap of biological sort of reasons, as well as sort of what culture does. The mother is the caregiver. The mother listens out. The mother will go and attend. So there's, I think, different reasons for why men and women sleep differently.
So are you therefore telling us that there is a biological reason for women sleeping differently, but also the expectations society has put on us, the expectations that we are to be the primary caregiver, we are to be the primary nurturer? Is that a reason which is sort of playing on our minds and then reducing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And when we feel, in this case, your son is something precious, something you are responsible for, and your husband will feel the exact same thing. But because it's sort of that sort of silent agreement, it's the woman who will be the caregiver. That's why you are sleeping lighter. So you can hear, you can listen out. When we are asleep, we all listen out for noise, or rather our brain still perceives and processes external noise. But then what happens, what the reaction to that is differently. And again, being the mother, you are more responsible for the child. So your brain will listen and interpret certain noises differently to your husband, who probably will also hear them, but his brain doesn't use them as alarm signals in a way, because hey, my wife will do it. And it's like I say, that's not, that he consciously thinks like that. It's just the culture that we all live in.
I mean, we've all been reading, and we do know about, all of us who study what's happening with diversity and with women. We know that women have picked up a larger share of the housework.
Yeah.
Women are doing 70% of unpaid labor is being done by women. We know that, but I didn't know that even while sleeping, 70% of the unpaid labor is falling onto us. And just see the impact of this cultural upbringing and mindset on all of us, that we are supposed to be on alert all the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. And it takes energy as well. Yeah.
So, Dr. Kat, we know that this world has been designed for men. Society has been designed for men. And now you tell me that even the way we sleep is designed to give more comfort and rest to men. So tell me, in how sleep impacts our physiologies, our bodies. Does lack of sleep unfairly impact women more than men? And if so, how?
Good question. And I don't know if there's a clear-cut answer. Again, lack of sleep impacts on all of us. And there are, again, yes, there seem to be differences between the sexes, between men and women. So poor sleep impacts our physical health, our sort of cognitive performance, sort of our thinking abilities, but also our mood and our emotional well-being. And sort of anxiety and depression, they fall into that last category. Now, we see generally that women experience depression and anxiety more than men. What we also see that lack of sleep sort of leads to anxiety, or much to more anxiety in women than in men. So there's definitely a difference. There may also be differences in sort of the cardiovascular disease risk, or hypertension, high blood pressure. That risk is higher in women who don't sleep enough compared to men. Right? So there are certainly, some differences. But for me, how much you notice that in everyday life, I don't know. We all need sleep, irrespective of age, sex, gender. We all need sleep in order, yes, I already said, for physical health, our thinking, our emotional well-being, to feel 100% ourselves. And in your little introduction, you mentioned your mentee, and I wondered there, whether she's not feeling herself or 100% herself because of poor sleep, and of course everything else that's happening right now. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, so it does seem to be a vicious circle: anxiety leading to sleep, and sleep leading to sleeplessness, leading to more anxiety. It's affecting both men and women equally, especially in these troubled times. But that it seems to impact women more, whether it is in
exactly.
This
So
anxiety.
So just on that note, we see insomnia, which is a chronic sleep problems and having troubles getting to sleep or staying asleep. Insomnia is predominantly, the rates are higher in women than in men. The ratio, I think, is 2-1, thereabouts. So there is, again, sort of a difference, and that's probably to do also with anxiety. Yeah.